The husband's family laughed at the wife underscore she silenced them with a $1 billion power play. Elena Marlowe stood in front of her modest wardrobe, her hand brushing over a neat row of dresses. Silks, sequins, couture? None of those. She had never cared for them, and tonight would be no different. Instead, her fingers lingered on a plain navy dress, knee-length, without lace, beads, or fuss. She slipped it on, smoothing the fabric with steady hands. No jewelry except her wedding ring. No makeup but a faint dusting of powder. Her hair she pulled into a low bun. She looked at her reflection. Soft, serious, unadorned. A woman who had learned to carry weight quietly. She wasn't dressing to impress the Pierces tonight. She never had. Yet as she stepped out of the car and into the glittering Pierce estate, the air felt heavier than usual. Crystal chandeliers dripped from the ceilings. Marble floors gleamed like ice. Laughter and the clink of champagne glasses filled the cavernous hall. Every guest was dipped in wealth. Gowns that cost fortunes, diamonds catching the light, men in bespoke suits. Heads turned when Elena entered, not out of admiration but calculation. Their eyes skimmed her dress, her modest clutch without a logo, her plain shoes. Their lips curled in quiet judgment. Celeste Rowe, a socialite whose smile was sharper than her stilettos, intercepted her at the entrance. Dressed in an emerald gown with a neckline that threatened gravity, Celeste basked in the attention of her audience. "Oh, Elena," she said, her voice carrying. "You almost slipped past me. You blend right into the wallpaper, don't you?" A circle of jeweled women and slick-haired men laughed. Celeste leaned close, perfume overwhelming. "Maybe next time borrow something from Victoria's closet. You know, to look like you belong." Elena's fingers tightened around her clutch, but her voice was steady when she replied, "I'm exactly where I need to be." The smile faltered on Celeste's lips before she tossed her head back in another theatrical laugh. But the people around her shifted uneasily, like they'd caught a glimpse of something they couldn't quite name. Elena entered the dining hall. The Pierce family's long table gleamed with silverware and white linens. Nathaniel Pierce, her husband, sat rigid beside her. He barely glanced her way, already busy fidgeting with his cufflinks. At the head sat Victoria Pierce, his mother, imperious, hair silver and sculpted, her lipstick blood red. Victoria's gaze could strip a person of dignity in seconds. Across the table was Daniel Voss, the family's oily lawyer, whose smirk always seemed 2 beats rehearsed. Martin Hale, a brash venture capitalist, leaned too comfortably in his chair, already eyeing his next target for ridicule. There was Juliet Crane, the pinch-faced fashion editor, Adrian Frost, the cool art dealer, and a dozen more, all of them entitled, all of them drunk on the illusion of untouchable power. The first strike came from Victoria. "Elena, honestly," she drawled, her wine glass catching the light. "That dress. Did you pull it from a thrift bin?" Her laugh rang out, commanding the room. The others followed, obedient as ever. "Oh, darling," Juliet added, her tone laced with false sweetness. "So quaint. Did you stitch it yourself?" Deanne at the far end, pearls clinking against her wine glass, chimed in. She must have married Nathaniel for money. Look at her. What else could it be? The table roared. Elena tightened her napkin but met the aunt's gaze evenly. "Is that what you think marriage is for?" For the first time that evening, silence cut through the laughter. Then Victoria waved her hand dismissively, laughing louder to erase the pause. During the soup course, Martin Hale leaned forward, his sneer broad. "Tell me, Elena, do you even know what a hedge fund is? Or do you just nod and smile when Nathaniel explains business?" Snickers rippled through the table. Elena placed her spoon down, her movements deliberate. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. "I know enough to understand your last deal collapsed." Gasps. Martin's face flushed crimson. His mouth opened, then shut again, robbed of its sneer. Elena picked up her spoon and sipped as if nothing had happened. Daniel Voss seized a moment, his smirk curling. If she really loved Nathaniel, she'd buy him proper gifts. Wasn't it a book you gave him last year? A book! The table erupted. Even Nathaniel gave a weak, embarrassed chuckle, complicit in the cruelty. Elena's lips pressed thin, but she did not break. She ate her salad in silence, letting their barbs slide past her. The wave of mockery built. A cousin sneered, "Stay in your lane, Elena. No need to try so hard." "My lane?" she asked softly, her eyes meeting his with unsettling calm. The laughter that followed was thinner now, forced. Juliet Crane leaned in, her designer scarf perfectly arranged. "You know, dear, there's a charity shop I can recommend. They might suit your budget." Elena set her knife down, looked directly at her, and said, "I dress for myself, not your approval." Juliet's smile faltered. The table grew restless. Still, the cruelty kept coming. "What does your family even do?" Victoria asked with a smirk. "Farmers? Shopkeepers." She's probably never even seen $1 million in her life. A hedge fund man chuckled. "You'd be surprised," Elena replied, her tone even, her gaze unwavering. The laughter was nervous now. Some shifted uncomfortably. Nathaniel stared at his plate, his hands trembling slightly. Halfway through dessert, a young journalist shoved a recorder toward her. "Mrs. Pierce, any comment on the rumors you're just a gold digger?" Elena set her spoon down, looked straight at him, and said, "Write what you want. The truth doesn't need my permission." The journalist faltered. The table fidgeted. All night, Elena's phone had buzzed silently beside her plate. She hadn't touched it. But now, as Victoria launched into boasting about the Pierce family's billion-dollar merger, Elena let her hand rest lightly on the device. Victoria sneered. "Coupons, Elena?" The table snickered, eager to follow her lead. Elena smiled faintly. $8 billion. How interesting. What would you know of numbers like that? Victoria pressed. "More than you think." The mockery rose again, brittle and uneven. Later, when Thomas Drake, a board member, stood to toast a Pierce legacy, his condescending smile landed on Elena. "And here's to Elena, who keeps Nathaniel company." Laughter. Clinking glasses. Elena stood. She raised her glass, her voice clear and unshaken. "To legacies and the people who actually build them." The room stilled. Thomas's smile withered. Dinner ended, but Victoria wasn't finished. "Tell us, Elena, how much wealth does your family really have?" Nathaniel muttered under his breath. "Maybe Mother's right." His betrayal cut sharper than any insult. Daniel Voss added cruelly, "You don't deserve to stand next to a Pierce." Elena said nothing. Her silence unnerved them more than words. Adrian Frost leaned over, her tone deceptively kind. "You must feel so out of place here. Elena, all this wealth, all this power, it's not for everyone." Elena's reply was soft but lethal. "Funny, I feel right at home." The laughter around her cracked. At last, Elena lifted her phone. The giant screen at the front of the hall flickered. Bold letters appeared. Elena Marlowe, owner of Meridian Capital. The room froze. Forks clattered. A glass shattered. Journalists scrambled for their phones. "This is only the beginning," Elena said. Victoria's face drained of color. "Impossible. You're nothing but—" Daniel Voss shouted, "Those shares can't be yours." An uncle sneered, desperate. "So what if you're a shareholder? You're still just a woman." Nathaniel rose, his voice shaking. "I never needed your money." Elena didn't look at him. She simply lifted her glass, took a slow sip, and set it down. Miranda Locke, the family's PR fixer, scrambled to salvage. "Elena, dear, let's not overreact. We can work together. I don't partner with people who don't see me." The room splintered. Guests whispered, panic creeping in. Phones buzzed with headlines. Then Elena pressed another button. Meridian Capital has withdrawn its $1 billion investment from Pierce Holdings. Red numbers exploded across the stock ticker. Gasps. Screams. People stood, phones glued to their ears. Victoria collapsed into her chair. Nathaniel stared blankly at the screen. Undone. Everett Shaw, the tech investor, scoffed. "You don't have the guts to tank a company like this." Elena turned her gaze on him. "I built Meridian from nothing. What have you built lately?" He paled. The room dissolved into chaos. "Please, Elena," Victoria begged, "give us another chance." Daniel Voss wiped sweat from his brow. "We can renegotiate." Please. Nathaniel grabbed her wrist, desperate. I still love you. Don't leave me. Elena slipped free, her expression blank. She picked up her clutch and walked toward the door, her heels echoing against marble. At the threshold, Cassandra Wynne, the ruthless corporate lawyer, shouted after her, You think you've won? You'll be forgotten by next week. Elena paused, her eyes cut back, calm and devastating. Forgotten? Check your portfolio tomorrow. Cassandra blanched. Elena left. Outside, the night was cool. She slipped into her modest sedan, opened her clutch, and glanced at a photo of her late mother smiling in front of a small house with a garden. For the first time that night, Elena's expression softened. She drove away, leaving the Pierce empire to burn. The fallout was immediate. Victoria's name splashed across headlines, her empire in ruins. Daniel Voss was fired, blacklisted. Nathaniel was photographed leaving the estate, his face hollow, his bags in hand. Their allies scattered, their fortunes evaporated. Meanwhile, Elena walked into boardrooms where once she'd been dismissed. Executives scrambled to meet her gaze. Contracts were signed on her terms. She never gloated. She never raised her voice. She simply worked, her authority undeniable. Adrian Cole, the rival CEO who had quietly admired her for years, met her in a diner one late night. No champagne, no marble halls, just flickering neon and black coffee. You did it, he said softly. Meridian signed with us. Elena nodded, her fingers tracing the rim of her cup. You didn't have to do it alone, he added, his hand brushing hers. I did, she replied, but I'm not alone now. His smile was small but certain. A promise. Weeks later, Elena entered another gala. This time, whispers followed her like reverence, not ridicule. Reporters waited for a statement. I don't have one, she said simply, moving past them. And that was enough, because Elena Marlowe had done what none of them believed possible. She had walked into their world, endured their scorn, and dismantled their empire with a quiet strength they never saw coming. The Pierces were broken, forgotten, silenced. And Elena? She kept moving forward. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. The truth had spoken for her. And that truth was enough.